If you want to double the amount of points that you score every single game, then you have to listen up. This is the framework that I've used with thousands of hoopers all over the world to get them scoring more points every single game. This is one of those things that will work as long as you do the work, but it's not comfortable, it's not easy, and it definitely takes some time planning your training, but super worth it. That's why I'm making an entire video about it. Guess what? Most players, what do they do in their training? They spam training that is easy, makes them feel good in the moment, probably doesn't get them much results. They get up hundreds of shots, hundreds of mic-ins, hundreds of stationary ball handling dribbles. But guess what? You're probably not trying to be like most players because most players are average. And the problem with the work that they're doing has nothing to do with the volume of work. It has everything to do with, though, the quality of the work. Say you wanted to be able to play a song you loved on the guitar. Say it was Crazy Train. You know that song? Crazy song, right? A lot going on, a lot of emotion, speed, timing, rhythm, coordination, chaos. It's just an insane song. But say the way you trained to learn it was all about practicing playing one note at a time and continuously playing that note for 30 minutes. Would that really help you? No, because it doesn't really resemble what you're trying to be doing at all. But it's easy, right? It makes you feel good in the moment because it's easy to win, be successful, and just gives you confidence. But it's something you just do to check the box. And it's like, oh, I'm done for the work for the day, but are you actually putting in the work? So you feel good while you practice, but when it's time to play in front of people, you don't sound good and you're terrible. It's not that hard to understand. So what if you replaced 25 of those 30 minutes just practicing this song at the speed that you needed to play it at? This forces you to get the rhythm down, the speed down, the coordination, the skill. All of it can happen if you're just doing the thing. You can still take 5 of those 30 minutes to practice each individual note, but just not all 30 minutes. This way you become prepared for actually playing the song. This method of training is harder though. It's more uncomfortable. You're gonna fail a lot of times. It doesn't give you that instant gratification. It doesn't feel like something where you're just checking the box and yay, I did it. Sometimes it feels like you're just utterly failing, but that's okay. Because if we were to zoom out and be real with yourself for a second, you would choose training that more resembles what you will experience while doing the thing that you're training for, right? And if you cared about getting better over everything else, over feeling good, over fear of failure, over judgment from other people, you would just fall on your face as many times as required until you didn't fall on your face and you were successful. This is what makes a lot of good players good, believe it or not, the ability to just not consider anybody else's opinions, thoughts, and feelings, and they're just focused on the goal that they're trying to achieve. Building that muscle is extremely key. So what does this mean for basketball training? The thing that I implement with every player is something called the 80-20 training framework. Right now, 90 to 100% of most players' training is just easy. We're going to call it low demand training. We call this form shooting, getting up standstill shots, mic-in, stationary ball handling. It's not that this work is wrong or this work is bad. In fact, there are some huge benefits that I like from this low demand training. It's an opportunity to work on feel, envisioning yourself doing something in the game, thinking of creative solutions to problems, just time to get away if you need it. It definitely can be useful and helpful, but only when the intention is right. That's why I think around 20% of your 100 should be this type of low demand training. But again, it's not about checking the box. It's time to feel, connect, learn, understand. Now, that leaves 80% of training to high demand training, or training that is at the edge of your ability. Of course, these percentages can go up or down depending on the time of year, your training age, your training level, etc. But for the most part, I like for 80% of your training to be at the very edge of your ability. We define edge of your ability as training that is at or above your current level of capability for a specific domain that you're looking at. And the thing is, most people don't even know what this type of training entails. We could split this up into 2 different branches though. The first branch is one-on-0 work, which is just by yourself, and then live work, which is with other people. For the sake of the goals of this video, we're just gonna focus on live work. So right now, say 100% of the time you spent working on your shooting ability entails of you getting up shots that are just wide open. It's not at the edge of your ability. But what if you took even half of that time and spent it on getting up reps that were against live defenders? Think back to the guitar example. Do we want to do things that are easy for the sake of doing them to check the box, like just playing one note? Or do you want to do things that actually get you better, regardless of the path that it will entail? Just imagine for a second that you can go through an off season and someone said, yeah, I got up 5,000 threes this season. And you were able to say, yeah, I got up 5,000 possessions where someone was trying to guard me, take the ball from me while I was shooting a three. That is totally different. And the thing is, so many people do this for a variety of reasons, but all of these reasons boil down to the fact that there is an expense of doing things that no one else is willing to do. That's why it's called hard. Like getting a training partner. This is not the easiest thing to do. You actually have to find someone to train with. Like I mentioned earlier, live work isn't the only way you can train at the edge of your ability, but is a key way because you are putting yourself closer to the actual circumstances that you will be facing in games where you actually want to play well. So when you are finding a training partner, it can't just be anyone, it has to be someone that actually pushes you. I love how everybody likes to point to genetics for the main reason why a ton of NBA players have sons that go to the NBA, but I would really question that premise. Because getting into the NBA takes more than just gifts that you were given. It takes being in the environment that breeds this type of focus, competitiveness, and creativity. So if you aren't blessed with that environment, with those people in your life, then you got to go make some friends. And that could be challenging. Other challenging things include the fact that you're going to be failing, it's going to be uncomfortable, probably going to be more tired. You're not getting that good feeling of checking a box. You don't get that instant gratification. Your training won't look pretty. A ton of challenging obstacles to face just to have good training. But at the end of the offseason, you're doing something where you can say, wow, I got up 5,000 possessions doing the thing that I want to get better at, and I feel extremely prepared to dominate in games, which you will be. No one else will say that because no one else created their own environment to allow for something like that to happen. They got up their shots, they did their mic-ins and played some games. They ended up getting hundreds of actual reps in when you got up thousands of actual reps. This is a magnitude higher that will put you ahead of everybody else. It truly is crazy to think about. Like, imagine someone asking you, how many shots did you get up today? And you were like, 300. Against live defense. That's just a completely different level of work because of the increase in quality that puts you in a different stratosphere when it comes to how much output you are giving. Now, let's take this concept and really dial it into doubling the amount of points you want to score in a game. I want you to think of two situations where you find yourself getting the ball the most when you're on your team where you are trying to play well. This will obviously depend on a lot of things, but I'll give you a quick example of this. Say your team's half-court offense primarily is just a drive and kick scheme. And in this scheme, you're going to get the ball on the wing where you have closeouts and you catch the ball and you're trying to get in the paint. I would set up a drill or a variation of drills that put you in a situation where it is one-on-one or one-on-two, where there is a defender on you and a defender in help. Say you start the drill at the top of the key above the three-point line, and the defender guarding you starts at the free throw line. Make it so that the defender initiates the drill by jumping from the free throw line. They have to touch your hip from the free throw line, and then the drill starts. You're trying to get into the paint and you're trying to go make a play and score. You get up drills like that to mimic a closeout in so many different ways that it will lead to so many different outcomes, yes. But the core essence of that drill stays the same. You are doing the thing more than anything else that you could possibly imagine doing. If at any point it becomes not competitive, you need to either adjust the rules of the drill or the individual rules so you can make it harder on one person or the other. Just imagine getting up 5,000 competitive reps of a drill like that with one or two people, everybody's trying to win. It will give you the skill, the presence, the understanding, and just confidence to handle those situations for the game. It would be pretty much impossible for you not to be confident in your ability to handle those situations in games. And that, my good friends, is the plan to have your best chance at doubling the amount of points you score per game. I have like 100 examples of live drills like the one that I talked about in this video that are in my YouTube shorts. So definitely like this video, subscribe, and check all those good things out, and I will catch you in the next video.